Jungle.
Vâng, thưa quý khán giả, chỉ còn khoảng 15 phút nữa là bắt đầu 5 giờ. Thì đây có một buổi lễ của cảnh sát Westminster. Ngày hôm nay nhân dịp mà lễ chiến sĩ trận vong tuần trước, thì bữa hôm nay mùng 1 tháng 6 năm 2023, thành phố Westminster sẽ có tổ chức một cái buổi lễ gọi là truy điệu tất cả những người cảnh sát đã hy sinh ở trong thành phố. Trước mặt chúng tôi đây là những cái ghế để dành cho những người đã tham dự ngày hôm nay. Bên tay phải của chúng tôi là những cảnh sát Westminster, bữa này là coi như đều có mặt hết. Trước mặt chúng tôi thì là có ông cảnh sát trưởng và một số các mọi người đang có mặt ở đây. Vâng, trong kết lát nữa đây thì chúng tôi sẽ tiếp tục gửi đến quý vị những hình ảnh của buổi lễ, chắc là không kéo dài bao nhiêu, và hầu như là những người mà có mặt trong những cái buổi mà sinh hoạt hearing của thành phố thì hầu như họ đều hay có mặt ở đây. Chúng tôi thấy có những cái ghế đã để chữ, có cả ông supervisor đỡ có mặt ở đây. Và thì đây là cái dịp mà để mà mọi người trường mặt ra đằng trước kia thì chúng tôi đang thấy có một số ông nam quan đang nói chuyện với ông trung sĩ cảnh sát Phương. Đây là ông cảnh sát trưởng. Hello Chief. Đây, những người hãy thường hay ra thành phố mà nói chuyện.
For us. Then I said, "Here I am, send me." And I believe at one time or another, every officer hears that call. It's a calling that they get. It could be young, it could be later in life, but it's a calling that they get. And they said, "Send me, here I am." And I think it's also for what it says in the book of Psalms. They go for a particular reason. For the psalmist says, "Give justice to the weak and the fatherless. Maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hands of the wicked." In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed a declaration establishing an Officer Memorial Day. And we are here today to honor those who paid the ultimate price. For Jesus said this in John 15:13, "Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friend." Let's pray. Lord, we come and lift up our prayers to law enforcement personnel as we observe Police Officer Memorial Week, that we will express gratitude for those who serve and protect and come into the Lord's mercy, those who lay down their lives for others. Lord, we ask for a blessing upon each person that wears the uniform and goes out to serve every day. Watch over them, watch over their families, and continue to strengthen each and every one of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Westminster Police Department Honor Guard.
Honor Guard, march on the colors! Uniformed personnel, praise it. Huh.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red flame, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Uniformed personnel, order. Huh. Honor guard, ready, face. Forward, march.
You may be seated. I'd like to introduce some of our elected officials and city leadership that are in attendance today. Please hold your applause to the very end. Vice Mayor Nguyen, Councilwoman Fan West, Councilmember Ho, Councilmember Monzo, Vice Chairman, Supervisor of the 1st District of Orange County, Andrew Doe. Representative from Senator Janet Nguyen's office, a representative from Congresswoman Michelle Steele's office, our City Manager, Christine Cordone, and Assistant City Manager, Adolfo Lozada. I'd like to now introduce Commander Awashida, who will speak about the recent Memorial Bike Ride.
Good evening. My name is Alan Awashida, and I'm honored and privileged to be here tonight to speak about the Westminster Police Officers Memorial Bike Ride. The Memorial Ride was started to raise funds for the Westminster Police Memorial Foundation, a nonprofit organization created to support injured officers and the families of fallen officers, both locally and throughout the nation. Participants in the ride consist of officers and professional staff from law enforcement agencies throughout Orange County, with one shared goal: to honor the officers and families who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Over its 11-year history, the ride has raised over $300,000 since its inception and has helped countless officers and their families. Months of preparation culminated on May 20th of this year, when Memorial Riders and their support crews began their arduous journey to the ride starting point, the State Law Enforcement Memorial in Sacramento. Over the next 4 days, teams of riders and their support crews made their way along the coast, covering 630 grueling miles between the State Law Enforcement Memorial and the memorial we are gathered at this evening. The riders endured countless hills, inclement weather, exhaustion, and undoubtedly great physical pain, all while knowing that whatever pain they were experiencing, it paled in comparison to the anguish the families of fallen officers endure. On the last day of this year's ride, riders stopped at the City of Garden Grove Police Department Officers Memorial to pay their respects to our neighboring agency before completing their ride here at this site. I'd like to thank you for coming tonight and appreciate everything that the Memorial Riders have done for the families and officers that we're honoring here today as well.
Thank you, Commander. It happens to me about every other event. I miss one elected official, and I just wanted to say from the Westminster School District, David Johnson as well. Thank you. I'd like to introduce the family members of the fallen, representing the late Lieutenant Weber, Billy Weber, and family. Representing the late Sergeant Frank, Eric Frank, and family. No one was able to attend today for Officer Phillips due to deaths in the family. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I want to tell you a little bit about him. Mr. Gordon Graham is a 33-year veteran of California law enforcement. In this capacity, he served as a street cop, supervisor, manager, and executive. Over the years, Mr. Graham earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from San Francisco State College, a teaching credential from the California State University at Long Beach, a master's degree in safety and systems management from the University of Southern California, and a Juris Doctorate from Western State University. With this background, he co-founded Lexipol, a company designed to standardize public safety practices around America. I probably can safely say probably close to 100% law enforcement agencies in California use it, and it's spreading literally around the world. The mere name in law enforcement is a regular saying. He also presents to law enforcement personnel around the world and is widely known for his slogan. I have this part memorized. If it's predictable, it's preventable. I have to agree with him on that, but everyone knows this individual from that saying as well. Truly is an honor to welcome him here in the law enforcement profession and in many legal realms as well. He is a legend. He'll say he's not, but he is. Mr. Gordon Graham.
Gordon Graham here. I've got you for 3 hours. Probably 15 to 20 minutes, so please be patient. For those of you I've never met, you heard the introduction. I was born in 1950. Age 14, San Francisco, California. Age 14, I got interested in cars. Age 16, I got me a car. Age 18, I was meeting a lot of cops. Age 20, I decided I should join. So at the age of 21, I made application to San Francisco Police Department, Daly City Police Department, and the California Highway Patrol. And they all offered me a job, and they were all paying the magnificent sum of $500 a month. Which way should I go? Here is the mature decision-making process of a 21-year-old kid. Who's driving what? In San Francisco, PD was driving these anemic 6-cylinder Fords. Daly City PD, you would have to Google this if you're young. Daly City was driving checker marathons. And the Highway Patrol was driving the big Dodge Polaris with the 440 6-pack, 440 cubic inches, 3 2-barrel carburetors. So I joined the Highway Patrol. And that was the sole reason why. 16 weeks of academy training, and they put me out by myself, 10 days of field braking with a senior officer. So, I'm out by myself on day 1, sitting in briefing. Sergeant Jack Becker's up front. All right, hit the street. Graham, sir, you have a fixed post detail today. Meet the motorcycle cop, Hoover on-ramp to the westbound Santa Monica Freeway. Sir, yes, sir. I had no idea what a fixed post detail was. I had no idea where the Hoover on-ramp was to the westbound Santa Monica freeway, but I figured it out. Showed up, and there's a motorcycle cop there, and we'll call him Ron, because that was his name. And he says, "Who are you?" I said, "Gordon Graham." He said, "Are you new?" I said, "Today's my first day." He said, "We're directing traffic around some Caltrans employees." So Caltrans was doing some highway, roadway maintenance there. And here I am, day one by myself, directing traffic around these Caltrans people. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and remember, I'm a car guy, a BMW gets on the on-ramp. Now, BMWs today are rather ubiquitous, but in 1974, they're brand new. Nobody had those things. And a beautiful woman driving this BMW, she gets on the on-ramp, she honks her horn and waves at the motorcycle cop, and he waves back. 24 hours later, same time, same woman, same BMW, honks the horn and blows a kiss at this motorcycle cop, and he blows her a kiss back. 24 hours later, same time, same station, she honks the horn and she motions to me. So I go over to her car, and she rolls down the window and she gives me this envelope, and you can smell the perfume on this envelope, and it's addressed to the beautiful motorcycle officer. And she said, "Would you give that to the motorcycle officer, please?" "Yes, ma'am." So she takes off and she pulls onto the right shoulder about 100 feet down the freeway, and I give it to Ron. He opens it up and he shows it to me. It is the most graphic sexual message you could possibly imagine. If I told you what it said, I'd never get invited anyplace again. And he gets on his motorcycle, follows her off the freeway, and I didn't see him for the rest of the shift. And I said, "I gotta be a motorcycle cop. That's the key." And I went to motorcycle school, and CHP school back then had a 70% failure rate for first-time attendees. Somehow I got through that, and I rode that stupid motorcycle for 10 years, and not once did anything remotely close to that ever happen to me. But I lucked out on terms of education. And I'm an inquisitive guy, and I was taking a lot of people to jail at Parker Center, downtown LA. And it was very difficult to get a parking space at Parker Center. It was the LAPD facility, the old police administration building. And the back parking lot by the jail was always filled up. But regularly, I would see a Mercedes Pullman in the back parking lot. Now, for those of you not into cars, the Mercedes Pullman is also known as the Dictator's Limousine. It's a short wheelbase Mercedes, very expensive. And it's parked in the back parking lot, and he's got 3 spaces. He's got an open space on each side with a counter. Who is this person? How did they get 3 spaces in this parking lot? So I asked, and they said, "That's the jail doctor." Well, I knew the jail doctor, Dr. Dwight Mogi. And I said, "How do you get 3 spaces?" And he said, "The first item on my contract, wherever I work, is 3 spaces, so my car doesn't get nicked." I said, "Well, what else do you do besides the jail doctor?" And he said, "My big job is I work for Fortune 500 companies. And when they are hiring executives, they hire me to come in and give a life expectancy on how long this person is going to live." I said, "Why? Why do they care?" He says, "If you're spending millions of dollars hiring a woman or a man to be the chief executive officer and they die a week later, that's money that's wasted. So I give life expectancy." And I said, "Are you any good at it?" He said, "I am very good at it." And he was explaining to me life expectancy. Shortly thereafter, I picked up a book called Blue Zones. Blue Zones. Do you know there are 6 areas of the world where people regularly live past 100 years old? Regularly live past 100 years old. And I got hooked on this. How do you maximize the length of your life and the quality of your life? I can do nothing about genetics. I can do nothing about traffic collisions. I can do nothing about illnesses brought on by job-related diseases and those types of things. But what can you do to maximize the length of your life and the quality of your life? And I put together a program, and I'm going to give it to you tonight. I call it the 10 F's. You want to live a long time? Not just length of life, but quality of life? The 10 F's. F1, family. Family. Take care of your family. Take care of your family. The bottom line is your family will always be there for you Make sure you're there for them. F2, family, friends. Friends, have some friends. You don't need 100 friends or 50 friends. You got 3 or 4 really close friends where you can call them in the middle of the night and say you got a problem and they'll come down and help you out. That's a big deal. Family, friends, faith. Have a faith. Believe in a higher power. I don't care what your faith is, but believe in a higher power. Family, faith, friends, food. Food. Everything in moderation. You want a steak? Have a steak. Just don't have one every night. You want a drink? Have a drink. Just don't have it every night. And a basic rule about food. If your grandmother wouldn't recognize it, don't eat it. Don't eat it. Family, faith, friends, food, fun. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. There's a lot of stuff that's a lot of fun. Enjoy life. Family, faith, friends, fun. Funds. Funds, one of my pet peeves. Everyone in this room, particularly the active people, if you don't get anything else out of my 20 minutes with you, leave with this. Plan on retiring debt-free. Debt-free. That is the greatest sign of wealth you could possibly have. If you choose to work after retirement, you can work. But no one should be forced to work after a career in public safety. And if I was a chief of police, how you doing, Chief? I would have a class on retirement planning at what point in your career? Day 1. And every year during the performance evaluation, based on your age and time on the job, where should you be financially? Family, faith, friends, food, fun, funds, fitness. Keep yourself in shape. You don't have to be a bodybuilder, but keep yourself moving. I'm not a physical specimen, but I try to walk every day. Keep yourself moving. Family, faith, friends, food, fun, fitness, function. Keep yourself busy. Function, freedom. Be grateful you live in the United States of America. You know, when I take over this country, and I cannot get into all the details, but I do have a plan. When you turn 18, you're going to do 2 years overseas. And I don't care if it's military or Peace Corps or some church group, 2 years overseas. You know, my son did his graduate work in Manila, working with prostitutes in the slums in Banabas, San Mateo, Rizal province. And I went over to visit him, several thousand people in a couple acres with an open sewer channel, with no hope at all. No hope at all. For those of you who are really into this stuff, less than 5% of the world's population can walk into a room like you did this morning with running water and take a shower and clean yourself up. Less than 5% of the world's population. Be very fortunate you're living here. Family, faith, friends, food, fun, fitness, freedom, fulfillment. Fulfillment. And this is what I want to focus on. Fulfillment. By the end of this program, I want you to know that every day you work in public safety, including the 3 people we're memorializing today, you can make a positive change in somebody's life. And that is powerful. I do a lot of eulogies. And I build my eulogies around Lyndon Ellison's great poem, The Dash. The Dash. If you've never read it, take a look at it. Go to any cemetery in America. There's a date of birth and a date of death on every headstone. What's in between them? The dash. What did you do? What did you do? What did Officer Phillips do? I never met the man, but I imagine I met him at Rio Hondo College because he went there, and I was very active on the instructional circuit when he was there, so we probably met. I never met Lieutenant Weber, but I did a lot of work for the California Narcotics Association, so I imagine he was there. I didn't know Sergeant Frank, but I did a lot of work in human trafficking earlier on in my career, so I imagine I met him there. But each of these men had a very powerful dash. I'll bore you with this. I didn't date a lot before I got married, but I was pulling into law school in 1981, my last year of law school, Western State University, biggest law school in America. Do you know why? They'll take anybody. And 4 years later, I proudly graduated in the top half of the bottom 10% of my class. But I pulled into law school one night, and there was a Ferrari in front of me. I was on my personal motorcycle, and there was a Ferrari in front of me. And I'm a car guy. And I've seen that Ferrari before, so I'm getting off my bike and taking my helmet off, and I'm looking. And this woman gets out of this Ferrari, and absolutely stone cold gorgeous, just gorgeous. You know, a motorcycle cop's dream. Beautiful woman, Ferrari. So I go into class, 200-seat theater, 20 students. 19 of the 20 are sitting where? Front row. Professor, you're so wonderful. I'm in the back corner, got my knapsack with me, got my 40 cal, 20 extra magazines, some beef jerky. If it goes down, I'm ready, you know. In comes walking Miss Ferrari, and she walks all the way up to the back row, comes all the way across, and sits down right next to me. And she said, how you doing? And I said, a lot better now. She said, you're the guy that sits in the back all the time, always telling the jokes. I said, yeah. She goes, you know, some of your stuff is actually funny. And I said, oh, I'm glad you like it. She goes, you know what I find really sexy in a guy? I said, what's that? She goes, I love funny guys. Well, I heard a good one today. What? What do you call a lawyer with an IQ of 70? What? Your Honor. She goes, I like that. And we started dating. 6 months into our dating relationship, and we had a ball. She was fun. 6 months into it, Gordon, we need to talk. Not Gordo, not Gordy, not double G. Gordon, we need to talk. And I need you to be serious. Okay, I'll be serious. Gordon, have you ever noticed that when we're together, that I'm always grumpy and you're always happy? Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I figured it out. You figured out why I'm always grumpy and you're always happy? It's obvious. You're dating me and I'm dating you. She goes, would you please be serious? Do you know what I hate about you? What? You love your job. You love your job. Every time we get together, you're talking about what you and Bruce did and you and Mike did and what you and Bruce and Mike did. You love your job. I said, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I'm a highway patrol motorcycle cop. She said, I hate my job. I hate the people I work with. I hate the people I work for. The only reason I work is for the money. Are there a lot of people in that boat? Everybody in public safety, every day you work, you have an opportunity to make a positive change in somebody's life, and simultaneously, you are building your dash. Your dash. When it's all over, people say, so what did he do? What did she do? Every day you're making a difference. And the three people you're memorializing tonight, while I did not know them personally, and you did, many of you did, they have one hell of a dash, ladies and gentlemen, and we should all strive to be that dash, that person who made a positive change in somebody's life. Anyhow, I want to thank you for listening to me tonight. It's an absolute honor to be here. I did 33 years in law enforcement. If you do the math, that's a little bit over 13,000 days. And I love going to work every day. It was days like this where I had to go to the funerals and the memorial services, which were very difficult on me. I know they're very difficult on you. But please, remember these three men for the heroes they were, the change they made in so many people's lives, and what they did for our profession. To all of you, good luck, good health, goodbye. God bless you, God bless America, and please work safely. Thank you so much for coming.
We'll now ask Commander Awasha to come up and administer roll call.
Lieutenant Ron Weber Sr., end of watch, June 6, 2003. Officer Stephen Phillips, end of watch, January 29, 2004. Sergeant Marcus Frank, end of watch, October 10th, 2007.
we will continue to have a moment of silence and a wait for the flyover by HB1 and OCFA. behalf of the members of the Westminster Police Department, thank you for joining us here today to remember our fallen and their families. Please join us for food and refreshments in Sunken Gardens behind you. This now concludes our memorial ceremony. Thank you.
Uniformed personnel, praise it! Hoo!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red flame, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Uniformed personnel, order! Hoo! Honor guard, ready, face. Forward, march. Left, right, 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 left,
You may be seated. I'd like to introduce some of our elected officials and city leadership that are in attendance today. Please hold your applause to the very end. Vice Mayor Nguyen, Councilwoman Fan West, Councilmember Ho, Councilmember Monzo, Vice Chairman, Supervisor of the First District of Orange County, Andrew Doe, representative from Senator Janet Nguyen's office, a representative from Congresswoman Michelle Steele's office, our City Manager, Christine Cordon, and Assistant City Manager, Adolfo Lozada. I'd like to now introduce Commander Awashida, who will speak about the recent Memorial Bike Ride.
Good evening. My name is Alan Awashita, and I'm honored and privileged to be here tonight to speak about the Westminster Police Officers Memorial Bike Ride. The Memorial Ride was started to raise funds for the Westminster Police Memorial Foundation, a nonprofit organization created to support injured officers and the families of fallen officers, both locally and throughout the nation. Participants in the ride consist of officers and professional staff from law enforcement agencies throughout Orange County, with one shared goal: to honor the officers and families who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Over its 11-year history, the ride has raised over $300,000 since its inception and has helped countless officers and their families. Months of preparation culminated on May 20th of this year, when Memorial Riders and their support crews began their arduous journey to the ride starting point, the State Law Enforcement Memorial in Sacramento. Over the next 4 days, teams of riders and their support crews made their way along the coast, covering 630 grueling miles between the State Law Enforcement Memorial and the memorial we are gathered at this evening. The riders endured countless hills, inclement weather, exhaustion, and undoubtedly great physical pain, all while knowing that whatever pain they were experiencing, it paled in comparison to the anguish the families of fallen officers endured. On the last day of this year's ride, riders stopped at the City of Garden Grove Police Department Officers Memorial to pay their respects to our neighboring agency before completing their ride here at this site. I'd like to thank you for coming tonight and appreciate everything that the Memorial Riders have done for the families and officers that we're honoring here today as well.
Thank you, Commander.